Give everybody a few moments to get locked in live with me here at KDKA in one of our production studios that I usually spend an hour in getting my game face on before I take to the airwaves at 6. Just was looking at some stories as far as the Big Three, something we do right after local news at 6. We give you the top stories, the Big Three, if you will, that KDKA has been covering with Paul Alexander and David Ballarado in the afternoon portion of our news department that starts bright and early in the morning on the Big K Morning Show. But there's one that I saw from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette that has me really interested in talking to you about tonight. Recently, Senator McCormick was in that great community of Braddock, and he was just saying, look, we got to cool our jets. We got to be patient with this stock market situation. And I was really happy to hear him say that, because that's what I've been saying. And I know it was another slippery slope today. And we'll have a Bloomberg Money Minute report for you coming up in the 6 o'clock hour. Actually, two of them at 20 and 50 in the 6 o'clock hour, right after Paul does the headlines. And the headline has been the stock market and its roller coaster ride. But the more I think about this, and yeah, I want to kind of get on that terror train with the rest of you, okay? But I can't. Because there's something that is just making me come back to this fiscal sanity and why this has to be done. And take Elon Musk out of the equation. Take everything that you've been hearing about as far as the stock market out of the equation, the fear factor out of the equation. But just think about how many times we've talked on my show about the trillions upon trillions of dollars worth of debt that this country is in. And why from one administration to the next over the last 50 years, I keep hearing that we're going to fix it. We had a nice little segment there in the 90s with President Bill Clinton. We had a balanced budget, but we also had the dot-com era. We had those great names like Microsoft, Facebook, Google, that really lifted our country up, right? And you would have hoped we could have continued to ride that wave, but we didn't, because we just never replaced the manufacturing. When we lost the middle class in America in the late 70s and early 80s, and in particular the steel industry, that's when things really started to go wrong. And we just kept borrowing on our name, credit. And that's why we have trillions in debt. And I've talked about this before. We've got $1 trillion worth of credit card debt in this country. And if you remember correctly, when the mills were booming, your parents, they bought things with cash. I mean, they had their charge cards for emergencies such as holidays and what have you, but for the most part they waited till they saved the money. But they were able to save money and take care of their family because they were making every 2 weeks a quality paycheck that came from the middle class. They paid taxes, they took care of their homes, they spent money in their community, so Main Street was healthy. It's a very simple formula. So what I believe President Trump in his late 70s, who grew up in that era, his father was in the real estate industry, he knows what made America great the first time. And honestly, he may be the only person with the courage or guts enough to attempt this. Honestly, if I were in his position, I don't know if I would have the courage. And I'm going to ask you that tonight. Would you? Could you make these decisions? Now, they're not all right, and this might not turn out right. But I just keep going back to my original thought, and I realized it before I heard anybody talk about it. This is basically trying to reverse things with these tariffs to get people to start making things in this country, not just American companies, but foreign companies. And if it works, it's going to bring back a lot of the money that we have lost since the late 70s and early 80s. And when I saw the story about Nippon and U.S. Steel and how he is telling people to review it again and open the thought process up, that would be a beautiful way to start this whole thing, because they're going to invest billions in the Mon Valley. It takes a lot of courage to run the United States of America, but this is not about a Democratic or Republican issue. This is about all of us. And people that listen to me and have been listening to me for years on this great radio station, like me, just trying to, earn a living, take care of the family, carve out our own little piece of the world. We have to reel this stuff back in. We have to turn things around in America because it's spiraling out of control. And if you look at all of the issues that we deal with, whether it's health, education, infrastructure, national security. It comes back to the lack of funds. Any family that doesn't have money coming in, more times than not, finds themselves in trouble. Financial problems can be epic. It's no different as far as our country is concerned. But we've been able to borrow and print money and borrow and print money and continue to just basically sign our name. Well, we got to pay our tab, and we have to get back into the business of creating. And I don't know about you, but some of these companies who could come back here could really be a game changer. And in the end, it would benefit those countries and those corporations too. Spread the wealth. Spread it evenly. Let's help each other. Let's make the planet a better place. Now, I know it may be wishful thinking, but we're not the only ones dealing with financial issues. And in the end, if this works, it could be a really good deal for both sides. So join me tonight as we continue to talk about the tariffs, which continue to be the top headline. We hit the airwaves right after local news at 6 tonight. It's your Pratt Pack on KDKA, 100.1 FM AM 1020. If you don't have that Odyssey app, get it. It's free. Download it on your phone, AUDACY. So wherever we go, you go. Have a great night, everybody. Tune in tonight. Going to be an epic show. KDKA, 100.1 FM AM 1020.